Hi, my name is George Elder, and I'm the president and operator of Adonai Software. Greetings! I would like to present to you the Application Wizard. The Application Wizard is IronSpeed's way of assisting you in creating new applications as well as maintaining or changing existing applications. Now, just being a layperson, nobody who knows anything about HTML or development, C++ or any type of computer language or anything like that, you can generate an application in IronSpeed Designer from the start to finish and have a fully functional application at the end by using the Application Wizard. There's no need to have any technical knowledge, or technical knowledge is not necessary. First off, I want to explain to you that later on in this presentation I will give you a live demonstration of how the Application Wizard works. But first I like to advise you of the application generation options, and that's a part of the wizard, and it essentially has 200 plus options that you can pick from. Wow, that's a lot of options. That means you can do a lot of things with it. The next thing is that the options are broken down into pretty much 3 categories. The first category is the new application creation options, and the next one is the new page options, and the third is the general application options. The new application creation option is basically like its name, and essentially it helps you create your new application, and it will not affect an open application. The second one is the new page options, and sometimes you'll go back and forth and you want to change a certain page that you've already generated and you wanted it to look a certain way and it didn't look that way, so you went back and essentially made a change, and this is the place where you make that change. Also, the general application options or the immediate effect option. So as you make a change here, it immediately changes in your application. This is basically how the form looks when you bring it up. It has like a tree, type environment. Basically, you have a branch and you open the branches, and then it has separate little branches that lead to other branches and so on. And within this this whole mechanism, you can change the way your application looks and acts and how it responds to the user. Part of the wizard is the page style, and right out of the box, IronSpeed Designer has approximately 30 page styles, and you can choose from those different styles, and we will do that later. The next thing is the database server. Now, pay attention to the database server, because this is the benefit of getting the latest and the greatest. And basically, I'm operating off of IronSpeed Designer 9.01, and at this time, this is the latest and the greatest. Well, what I want to bring to your attention is that in previous versions we had Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, and Oracle, and those were the only 4 that you had to choose from. Well, with the new version, we have Microsoft SQL Server Azure, which is beautiful, it's a cloud services by which you can load this up on the cloud, and also you can load your application on the cloud, or vice versa, have the database on the cloud and have your application on premises, or have your application in the cloud and your database on premises. So it's a very powerful tool to incorporate your data or your application with your database. And as we'll see later, it pretty much connects to the database very easily. And the next thing is your pages, and your pages are basically off your database table. In this case, they're using the Southwest or the Southwind database, and it looks like an Access database, which is signified by the MDB. And the tables essentially correspond below, as well as the views and etc. And the next thing is the pages that it's going to create. You have the ability to choose which tables, or I'm sorry, which pages you would like to generate from your tables. And specifically here, there's an add record table or page off the orders table, edit record off the orders table, and edit an edit table off the record table. And then it has other types of implementation of pages, and we will see that later. The next thing is the keys. IronSpeed Designer will basically configure your application, search your database, and give you recommendation on virtual and foreign keys that you can pick. And for here, they've selected the customer ID, the order ID, and the product ID as foreign keys, and the category ID as a primary key. Next is the language selection. IronSpeed is an international application by which it localizes its applications so that multiple people can be affected by your application. Like for instance, if you want to pick English and French, Spanish and German, like we will do later, you can select those languages, and essentially it will affect your application in the upper right hand corner, where the drop down box will be there so that you can select your application, and on the form your application will change language. Pretty cool, huh? The next thing is the application settings, and in the application settings it gives you the ability to name your application, point where your application is going to be housed, and also it's going to point, or it's going to have the application type, by which you're going to have a website or a web application. And as we see later, there's SharePoint implementation and everything else. So let's move on to the live presentation. Here is the live IronSpeed Designer, and the thing I want to point out is that on the right hand side they have coming attractions, and the coming attractions have a vast number of very good information that's happening in IronSpeed Designer. Like for instance, IronSpeed Designer will no longer support 6.2 version 6.2 after April 30th 2010, and that's a good thing to know. The next thing is about classes and all types of other information that you can use at your leisure. The next thing is that we have the create application now, and then also there is a show me button. The show me button gives you the ability to watch a 5-minute video so that you can be more apprised of how IronSpeed Designer works. And there's two ways, there's several ways, but the two main ways of creating your application is to use this icon, or to go up to File and select New, and then Application. You will also get to the application wizard. Well, let's select the icon, which will bring up the application wizard. The application wizard has that image that you've seen earlier, and basically it has two grayed out buttons and a next, and the options, what we'll cover later, help and a video demo. The video demo is essentially the 5-minute video to show you how to work IronSpeed Designer. And help is essentially getting help where you can, it's a text field where you can type in and get assistance that you need. Well, let's move on to next. If we go to next, it'll show all the 30 types of page styles. A lot of page styles. Well, I'm a little bit smidgen with the Kilimanjaro, and let's find it if I can. Let's see if it's here. Maybe. Tell you what, let's go with the Rockies, because actually I'm from Denver, so the Rockies sounds good to me. We'll select the Rockies, okay, and hit next. And as we discussed before, here are the database options. And specifically, this is a beautiful thing. If you go over here to the right of the database name, like Access, and it will tell you which database versions that it supports. Like for instance, Access, it will support Access 20 all the way to 2010. The same way with Microsoft SQL Server Azure. SQL Server, it's saying that it will support SQL Server 7 with Service Pack 4 or later. All the way up to 2008, all editions, including the Express Edition. The same for the CE edition. The CE edition is the compact edition, and for this will only support 3.5.1 or higher. MySQL is the same way, and it basically 5 or greater. And Oracle, it will go 9i all the way up to 11g. Very cool. The next thing is that we will select a database server, and I have several. But if you need to find your database server, all you need to do is hit find, and this gives you basically information on how to do that. You click find, and it will find your databases. And it found my databases, and I'm going to choose the database with the Southwind database on it. I'm going to use the Windows authentication. I'm not going to use the SQL Server username and password, but in the future probably you should use username and password if you want to keep your security. But for this project, we're just going to use the Windows authentication. Select that, and it looks like it was very successful. And the test is good, so I'll go next. And the next thing that comes up is the list of databases in my database server. And we're going to look for Southwind. I don't know if I have yeah, I have Southwind. There it is. Well, and when I select the Southwind database, it selects the tables. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables with one view, looks like it. So we're going to select that. We have the Southwind SQL database. Select it. And the thing is you can go through with those 9 tables, and you can select. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Off each table, we can select pages. And over here to the right, it will tell you how many pages it's going to create. And each table looks like it's going to create 12 because we have mobile pages incorporated. Well, here we're going to slightly change some of this so it doesn't create so many pages. And it's going to bump down to 10. So we're going to do the same for the next table and the next table. Those are workflow pages, and this is an idea of what the workflow page looks like. so that you know, because we're not going to choose them. And for each table, looking good. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 tables with 10 pages each. So at the end of the day, IronSpeed is going to create 100 pages for our application. And I want to show you what the add page looks like, the edit page, and the edit table. The reports, you can do group by. It's going to show a table as well as the group by table. Record, and the mobile is going to look like that. And with the, I believe that only with IronSpeed 9.0, the version 9.0 was the mobile pages incorporated. And you can essentially create mobile pages along with your website pages, and so your mobile customers or users can use a smartphone to get to your web pages, and the application knows between a large page and a mobile page. And if you come to a phone, or you bring up the website via phone, the website automatically knows to send a phone page instead of a ASP.NET page. Pretty interesting, huh? Alright, I won't go too much in the phone. That's for another class, but I just wanted to give you a basic understanding how the application wizard will work. And I click next, and IronSpeed is looking for additional primary keys and foreign keys that you could use, and it looks like there's none, so we will move on. And as I told before, the languages, the localizing of languages in IronSpeed Designer is straight out of the box. You have tons of languages, and we're going to pick Spanish. Let's see where the Spanish is, if I can get my alphabet down. Spanish, come on, there we go. Alright, we're going to pick Spanish, French, and German. Okay, so we have 4 languages here, and as I discussed before, in the upper right hand corner of your application, you will have a nice little drop down box that will basically localize your application. Let's move on. And as I discussed before, this gives you the ability to name your application, and we want to name it. I'm not going to name it SoftWind because well, I can name it SoftWind Demo because I haven't used that before. Okay, we got our name of our application and the location of our application. If you come down here, you can decide what type of application you want, like a website or a web application. You want Microsoft SharePoint 2010 or a 2007. And understand that these features are in the Enterprise Edition. So whenever you see the E, it's the Enterprise Edition. And I believe that's pretty much what they're selling today. There's no more of the standard. So let's move on. And the code language that it gives you the ability to change between C# and VB.NET. And I'm going to leave it at VB.NET, as well as it gives you the ability to change .NET Framework to 4.0, which is the Visual Studios 2010, and 3.5, which will basically default to Visual Studios 2008 or above. And also the generation of your SQL Server statements, like your, whether you're going to have stored procedures and I believe I've already generated this application before, so it has all the necessary stored procedures. So I'm gonna keep it in line, which will basically not create any stored procedures. You keep the ones that you already have. Okay. Before I move on, I want to go to the options. Yeah, you've seen this before. This is the application generation options, and as a new application, I can make changes here to the design theme, as well as how the menu is going to look, and it could look classic, or it could look multi-level. Multi-level means that as you click on one, there's 4 or 5 that drop down beside it, and the maximum number of menu items to generate, and we got 50. So we're going to leave that as the default. And the mobile pages as well, whether the menu is vertical, and it doesn't really give you a chance to change that, but the formatting enable the browser phone number detection, and that means that you can detect the phone number, but we're going to leave it at the default as no. The next thing is the new page and charts option. So the web page options gives you the ability to change pages or number of pages to create, and it'll tell you whether you want the data entry form or report form or workflow. And you have some essentially some answers and questions over here, questions and answers, that is, and you can answer those appropriately. The next thing is the generated application, and this is something that we discussed earlier, which affect immediately. About the pop-up, how many, how many to display, etc. And we won't go too more in detail in that. So we'll click OK, and we're ready to generate our application. Well, we're going to generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tables with 10 pages. So there's going to be 100 pages. These are 10, and each one of these corresponding will have 10. So without further ado, let's go ahead and generate our application. And the way you do that is click Finish. And what IronSpeed is doing is generating all those objects and putting them into an application so that you can run it in your browser. It takes a few minutes. As you saw, 100 project files generated, and it will generate some ASPX pages as well as ACX pages. And it does have VB.NET code behind, which will incorporate page classes as well as component classes to make up your code behind. It will not create any stored procedures because I chose to use the inline. Now, specifically, you got to understand this is I guess a pretty handy tool. But as you're generating this application, it basically shows you how many hours you would spend on this had you not generated it. Well, our application is ready to go. As I was saying, that calculator shows you how much money and how much time you propose to save. And you can probably take that to your boss and say, oh wow, I saved you 297 hours and $24,000. Awesome stuff. Wow. Here's our application. Now, our application is basically generated in our web browser, and it's all ready to go. The unfortunate part is I don't have, the menu is on top. But you could have chose to get a vertical menu or a horizontal, and at this point I got the horizontal menu, and beautiful. Look at that. The pictures, everything's intact. You can't do any better than this for the amount of time you spent on generating. And like I told you before, if you go up here, it gives you the ability to localize the application by changing the language. Now, everything doesn't change, but certain things within your application will change. Not your database certainly, but everything in your application that can change will change. Like the drop down here, as well as the label right here, and the button. Let's go to German and see if it changes again. Yep, it does. Same here, same there, same there. And of Spanish. Yep, same deal. Now, you got to understand that everything won't change. All the category names won't change, but there's a way that you can change them yourself. That's a basis for another class, and we will not get into that. Well, let's move on now that we've created the application. Look at that. Within IronSpeed Designer, and you just need to understand that IronSpeed Designer has what they call a live preview. You can see the same application within IronSpeed Designer, and you can affect your application or change things just like you would in your browser, and it responds. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. And what that means is that you don't really need to have IIS or web services browser or some type of internet service provider to run your application. IronSpeed will run it right in the live preview. Well, I hope this really helped you in understanding the process of using the application wizard. If you have any questions, you can contact me at Adonai Software. With my email is gelder@adonaisoftware.com, and I'd like to thank you for watching my video. Thank you.